Hello and welcome to another episode of 2 Minutes with Tim here on Heavenward Thinking. Today I want to challenge you on 1 John chapter 3 verse 1. See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God. And that is what we are. The reason the world does not know us is that it did not know Him. So we've been talking about 1 John and the truth found all throughout 1 John for the past few weeks. As we look at the beginning of 1 John chapter 3, we see this great statement of the love of God and what we are. We are children of God. And we see that powerful declaration right before we get the phrase, the reason the world does not know us is that it did not know Him. Again, we are supposed to be set apart. 1 John shows us how to live as Christians, that we are to be different than the world around us. We're supposed to be filled with the love of God, the light of Christ. We're supposed to be completely different, set apart from the world. And this verse is no different. It encourages us and challenges us to be a child of God, to remember on a daily basis that that is who and what we are, that we are children of God. We're not children of the world. We're no longer enslaved to sin. If we have Christ living in us, if we have confessed our sins, if we made Him the Lord of our life, then we are to be different by being a child of God. And again, we back up to the beginning of that verse and we see that only by the love of the Father who sent His Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for our sins, only by that love have we become children of God. And now that we are children of God, we have to be different and then not be surprised that the world isn't going to know us. And we see that the world does not know us because it did not know Him. When Jesus came in the flesh, the world turned against Him. They didn't recognize Him for who He was as the Son of God, and they're not going to recognize us as the way we want them to. They're not going to accept us because we are different than the world. If we're truly living for Jesus, we're going to face hostility because the world is going to be against Jesus living in us. So we need to make sure that we are living as a child of God and then not surprised when the world responds against us. As always, join us next time for another episode of 2 Minutes with Tim here on Heavenward Thinking.